Okay, this is going to be a quick overview of cover crops, which are simply living carpets. It's an example of a cover crop. It's a crop that's grown to cover and protect the soil. So what are some of the pros and cons of cover crops? Well, the pros is you get soil stabilization, soil rotation, you get different root structures in there, nutrient holding. You can attract beneficial insects, in particular buckwheat's good at doing this. And the cons, I really don't know of any. If you find out any, let me know. Some growers may complain they might be a little hard to deal with depending on what you grew. But other than that, there's a lot of benefits to these that I don't really know too many negatives. The selection process is important, and in part it's season dependent, depending on when you want to grow the cover crop, either over the winter or during the summer if you're resting in the area. Winter in New England is most limiting because of our simple lack of warm temperatures to grow any sort of crop. Blends get a lot of attention. People say, I want to do a blend in this. Well, how many do you want in there? There's basically 3 classifications despite all the different species. There's grasses, there's legumes, which you should inoculate in some way, and the brassicas. Provided a link here. You can click on this. Again, in the description, you'll find a link to the lecture slides and also the sources for all the images. You're welcome to click on here. It's produced by NRCS, and they do a pretty good job of summarizing some of the cover crops. But to give you just a quick idea, New England standards for the winter time. Winter rye, as the name implies, it can germinate in basically any temperature above 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Any temperature above freezing, it can germinate. It'll be slow, but it can germinate. Hairy vetch is another option, the one here. It's great at fixing nitrogen, but it fixes most of its nitrogen just before flowering, late in the growth cycle. When you see the purple flowers, that's a sign it's fixing as much nitrogen as possible, and you want to go through and kill it, otherwise it becomes like rope and can wrap around your equipment. So it is a vine, it can be an issue, but if you kill it at the right time, there should be no problems. Winter rye can get very tall, and can germinate at very low temperatures, typically seeded in the late fall. Both of these are winter hardy and will survive harsh New England winters. In the summer, now if we're looking at resting an area, or we have an issue and we can't get into a field and want to rest that for the summer, we have buckwheat or Sudan grass would be 2 great options. Buckwheat grows really quick, but be careful, it can reseed itself. When you see the white flowers here, this is again a sign you want to come through and kill it in some way. It does attract beneficial insects, so you're kind of playing the line there of how long do you keep it up to keep the insects in the area, or risk the chance of it reseeding. Now when it has reseeded, at least in the situations that I have seen, it hasn't been really that aggressive, so it's not a major concern. Sudan grass grows very tall. You need a special equipment to manage it properly. Think of this as like corn without the ear. It looks like corn. It can get really tall, 6 feet, even taller, and it can get really thick and be difficult to deal with if you don't have specialized equipment. Kind of be able to get in there, brush hog it down, beat it up pretty good, mow it down. You want to just make sure you have something or plan to have something if you do plan on growing that. Others, red clover, tillage radish. Red clover is great, grows really low, can help fix nitrogen. Tillage radish getting a lot of attention to kind of break up heavy compacted soil. If you do use tillage radish, be careful, don't overseed it with too much other than the recommendation says, because when these do go to rot, they can produce quite the odor. So be mindful of your neighbors in that case. Keep the plantings, it is a pretty small planting per acre as far as seeds go. Keep it low, don't over add, because they can produce quite the odor again when they do go to rot after they perform their job here of busting into thick soil. Should you fertilize your cover crop? The simple answer, no. I gave no in a bunch of different languages here. In fact, if your cover crop does not look a little deficient, odds are you may have over-fertilized in season anyway. So your cover crop does not necessarily have to be lush, dark, green. That's a sign you may have over-added nutrients in season. But should you actually fertilize it? No, let it grow. It can actually show you where some good or poor areas might be in your field. Lastly, consider cover crops potentially in season to underseed. Underseed your cash crop at the same time. Yeah, clover. This is a grass mix under some corn here. So it is possible to actually have a living carpet under your potential cash crop, again, depending what it is. Clover could be used in walkways or lower growing crops. Your grass could be used for kind of another grass, corn, just a way to help stabilize soil and reduce weed pressure, again, in certain cases.